Hey everybody, it's Peter, and this is going to be a great day. I've been fans of these for such a long time, and now I finally get to review one. So this is the 2023 Can Am Ryker Rally. Now there's lots of versions of this, and if you're a fan of anything like this from Can Am, make sure you subscribe to this channel because I'm just getting my first chance to look at them today and review them for you, but I have the opportunity here at Extreme Torque Motorsports, which they give me complete access to their entire vehicle lineup. And if you have questions about anything Can-Am related, I'm gonna be able to review it and come back to them again and again and again. So like I said, this is gonna be an in-depth review. And one of the reasons I wanted to review these things is because I feel like a lot of the reviews, there's some things missing that I wanna know, and I'm gonna try to cover some of those things for you in this video, but I can't cover it all. So make sure you let me know in the comments what you wanna know about this entire line of vehicles, and I'll make sure I come back to you both in the comments section and in future videos. Now this is an interesting vehicle because it's unlike anything I've reviewed before, and I am still getting to know stuff. So your questions are really gonna help me find out what you wanna know, and that's why this is awesome. So again, I want to thank Extreme Torque Motorsports here in Fredericton, New Brunswick. They actually have 3 locations in New Brunswick, so it doesn't matter where you are, there's one near you, and all of their inventory is shared, so you can make sure you get the vehicle you want. They're awesome people, they're really knowledgeable, even far more knowledgeable than I am, and they're gonna help me make sure that I know these to make sure that you know these, and that's what we're doing today. So we're gonna start with this review of this rally bike, rally trike. Let's talk about it right now. So let's get one thing out of the way right off the top. You need a motorcycle license to ride this, and Can-Am makes it super easy to get that. They even have training programs where you can ride these, so that's not a big deal. The problem with the motorcycle to ride this is that most of the people that review it have been riding motorcycles for years and years and years, and they approach it like a motorcycle rider. That can be good, but it can also be a problem because this thing is not a motorcycle. The way it feels, the way it is very different. And you'll have people say, hey, I don't like the way it doesn't lean in turns. Well, yeah, if you want a motorcycle, get a motorcycle. But this thing is kind of a blend between a lightweight sports car in the vein that they don't make them anymore, and a motorcycle. So it gives you that open air, open feeling that you get from a motorcycle, but nobody ever drives around a really cool lightweight sports car around a track around the roads and says it doesn't lean, right? So this is something all to itself, and it has characteristics that are really unique. And I'm gonna try to talk about it as an auto reviewer and a motorcycle reviewer and try to sort of put my feedback of both into what this is and what makes it fun, what makes it great. Now what's cool about this one is this is a 900cc 3-cylinder engine, and it's kind of, this lineup of the Rykers is kind of priced similar to the 900cc motorcycle that I actually own. So it is priced similarly to those. This is what the original Can-Am Spyder was. It's compact, it's light, it's fun. The Spyder has moved on to become a larger lineup with a lot more luxury features. We're going to review them on this channel as well in the future. But the Ryker fills in that playful spot that is very cost effective as well for a lot of us. So again, it's a mid-level motorcycle if you want to look at it that way, but this is in the entry-level span. So if you're comparing it to motorcycle type bikes. Now, again, there's a rally off camera, or there's a sport off camera. We're gonna focus on that one in a second, and I'm gonna show you the dash on that one just to sort of vary it up a little bit. The rally is a step up from the sport. So the way you can think about this in the motorcycle world is something like a adventure bike of sorts. It's got a little extra ground clearance, it's got some adjustable suspension, which we're gonna show you about, and it has tires that are great for mostly on-road, but also dirt roads, gravel roads, that kind of thing. It also has some drive settings that allow you to have some fun in it, and we're gonna talk about that in this video as well. The sport model, to me, is a little bit more of a base model. It doesn't have the same ground clearance, it doesn't have the same suspension adjustments, but if you're driving primarily on-road, that's the one to get because it gives you that sports car kind of feeling. So we're gonna talk about what this feels like, what it looks like, and we're gonna dig into the specs to help you understand what it is and how it can work for you and if it's right for you. So we're gonna start off at the very front end here because there's some things I wanna show you, and whenever I review a motorcycle, I always say you can tell the purpose of a vehicle by looking at the front of a motorcycle, and this isn't a motorcycle, but let's talk about what the purpose of this is. if you see what you've got here, it looks very Indy car, very F1 car, but I like to think of it as more of an early Lotus 7 or a Caterham 7 if you've ever seen those. And what they do is they have a body in the center and the wheels come out. And what that does is it really centralizes the weight, makes it a great handling vehicle. And that's what these are. They have a lot of great handling. And you can see the suspension design is very race car-like. Up here on the Rally, you do have adjustments. We're going to talk about adjustments on the suspension in just a second here. But I want to show you down in here. Typical stuff, basically motorcycle style disc brakes. And you can see I don't have huge hands. Although these look like car tires, they are far narrower. On the Rally, these are 16-inch wheels up and down, so the wheel diameter is 16-inch wheel and 15 inches in the back. On the Sport one, it's 16 in the front and 16 in the back. So you have a little bit of variance in there that you may not know about. But you can also see the tread here. This tread, although not super aggressive, is definitely a little bit more of an gravel roads, dirt road kind of tread. So it works absolutely great on the road, but think of it like a good SUV tire, or like what Subarus do with their rallying as well. Think of it more like that, a little bit more aggression, a little bit more of an on-off road that gives you a little bit more tread in difficult situations. So let's talk about that adjustable suspension and riding this in a sort of a rally type setting right now. So I'm going to sit across this right now just as we talk about this Rally in particular. First thing I want to show you is this is just super comfortable. So we'll talk about the comfort in a second. So this as a Rally type vehicle, it has a different drive mode than it does, for instance, the Sport vehicle. It allows you some slippage on things like dirt roads and that kind of thing. But what's cool about it is it still keeps you in control. So it won't let you kind of at least it will do its best to not let you sort of fully swing out. But if you've ever driven a lightweight sports car, the rear end is kind of playful, and they really don't have lightweight sports cars anymore because you've got so much safety equipment, so much other things that you need to put into a car for car regulations that you don't have in trikes. And what that does is it creates a really playful feeling. I think people are going to really like the Rally because of that playful back end that you can kind of hang out, but you can't, it's harder to swing it right around and get yourself in trouble. And that creates an overall really playful feeling. So the other thing is with the adjustable suspension. Sometimes adjustable suspension can be intimidating for some people. Hey, I don't really know how to adjust it. So if that's you, just get it set up from Torque Motorsports or wherever you're buying them. Get it set up the way you want it from the start. They'll have some suggestions about sort of a factory baseline type thing, but you can adjust the suspension on the fly. So if you start going down that really rough road, like around here in Fredericton, there's some rough roads along the river. They're super scenic, but they're rough. So you can dial in how it works, and you can sort of discover for yourself how to smooth out the ride or how to make it more sporty or how to make it handle a little bit different by dialing in the suspension yourself and having some fun with it. You can't ruin it. It's made to be adjusted. It's very simple. We're going to show you that in a second. And that to me is what's cool about the Rallies. You can kind of customize the ride. So whether you get the Sport or the Rally, and like I said, we'll probably do a full other video on the Sport in the future, what you have here is a very fun vehicle. A lot of people lean towards a bike like this or a trike like this compared to a motorcycle because it has that stability, that natural stability of having that wider area. What else is, the other thing that's cool though is you really have a unique cornering feel with a ton of traction up front. And again, not a loose back end, but a playful back end, especially on dirt. On the road, it's going to be solid, it's going to feel great. The other thing that's cool though is you think about a motorcycle tire, it's curved around just like these ones are curved around, but it also has a curvature like this, and they have very little tire on the road. What this does is put a lot of tire on the road for the weight of this, and that allows you to take some fun, fast corners, but also from a safety perspective, if you jam on that brake pedal, and there is only a pedal, there is no lever here, if you jam on that brake pedal, you've got a lot of rubber on the road, both in the front and the back, to really control your stops. So it feels very safe, but it also feels very fun. Like I said, it's a different animal. So now let's look at how to adjust that suspension, how to work the controls, how some of these things work on this bike as we move our way through. So suspension adjustment couldn't be simpler. On a lot of vehicles, it can be very complicated, but you can see here, there's sort of an upside down two from the angle you're looking at. You've got one on the right side of the vehicle, one on the left side of the vehicle for the two front wheels, and one on the left side of the rear for the rear wheel as well. So you can play with that on the fly, on the go, and really customize out. And that to me is what makes it kind of cool. If you know what you're doing, you'll know exactly what to do off the top. But if you don't know what you're doing, you're not sure how to adjust it, you can play with it as you go. Just keep the front settings identical. You can adjust the front and rear. And this one does not equip with a passenger on the rear as we talk right now, but you can get that as well. And that's where some adjustment in the rear suspension is also nice. All right, I'm staying along the right side of the vehicle here. So this is on a motorcycle where you would have your brake, and I'm in a wide angle camera type view right now, so it's kind of skews the look of it. I'm gonna zoom into a normal angle, and I'm gonna zoom in further to see your foot peg there. And I'm gonna try to put my foot on there. Hopefully it looks kind of normal as we jump on here. So you can get on the bike, or the trike, I guess, either side. As you put your foot here, it feels exactly like a regular motorcycle. You've got your foot brake there, and again, your foot brake is your only brake. Now on this Rally Edition, you do have these extra rubber foot pegs there that give you a little bit more vibration absorption, that kind of thing. If you're driving on like real washout type roads, those are going to be appreciated. On the Sport model, they have a little bit more of a metal, smaller feel there. But you can see it's very comfortable. You can move lots of different ways. The overall seating position is comfortable. We showed you that earlier. And again, that single brake pedal that you can work to operate all the brakes, no brake levers, nice and simple. So one of the things I love about this view here is it kind of shows you the intent of the designers here. So what you have is a really open space above this rear wheel here. You've got that lay down shock here, which is preload adjustable, and the other regular adjustment like we just showed you on the other side. And you've got a lot of open space. And what that means is that all of the weight on the vehicle is moved forward. And what that does is it places the weight between the front wheels, centralizes the weight. And again, you saw how those front wheels are very spread out from the actual body itself. So all of the weight is very centralized, very close, and that makes something that is very fun to handle with the rear wheel hanging out back here. Now you've got the Akrapovic exhaust right there. That is standard on the Rally. That lay down shock, again, they could have made it upright over here, but they laid it down. That's gonna give you a lot more control because it travels a longer shock. And it also gives you that weight balance of laying it down low, moving it forward, which again helps with handling. All right, we're on the left side of the vehicle right now, and I'm going to zoom in again, and we're going to zoom in one more time if I can get it lined up correctly where I want it. Let's go right there, and you can see there is your key. Now the key on this, not your typical motorcycle key in any way. So I'm going to pull it off of there. It is a simple contact type key. It senses that the key is there. So really kind of cool, one fits in your pocket easily, and that's what you've got. And again, it just punches in here, and you're able to turn it on. We're going to do that in a second here. You've got your parking brake over here. Let's go a little wider angle again. You've got your parking brake over here, a little bit dark area here, but you can see that is your parking brake. It's on or off and can move around. And you've got another foot peg over there. And then there is a gear shift. This is an automatic transmission, but I'll try to show you with my own feet how this works. Actually, let's just get a little bit different angle, and we'll show you how this gear shift works with my foot. So this is a little trick I learned while I was here, because it looks like a regular motorcycle gear shifter where you can pull it back, but it's very hard to pull back. So right now it is in the forward gear. You only have forward and reverse. There is no actual gear shifting to drive this, but they taught me a little trick. If you put your foot over here and pull it back, there's your reverse. You put it forward like that, and there's your forward. The gear shift stays out of your way while you're driving, and it's just forward and reverse, which makes this super, super simple to drive. Let's move our way to some of the handlebar controls and the dash as we talk about how this works. All right, now starting wide angle and then moving in again. You can see we've got the dash over here. We're gonna go move over to the Sport model for a second when we show you the dash, just to give you a little bit of variety, but right now we'll stay where we are. You've got here on the Rally the extra hand guards over here. So again, there's no clutch lever on this left side like there would be on a motorcycle, but you still have some hand guards here if you're going down some stuff, just to give you a little extra protection. The mirrors, of course, are mounted on the bar ends right there, and that's a perfect location. You can see perfectly, but as we zoom in here, you see basically typical motorcycle controls. A little hard to see with the glare right now of the lights, but you've got your high beam and low beam. You've got your good feeling signal lights that work exactly the same as a motorcycle, and the horn. That's all you need over here. But you may notice it is mounted to a true handlebar. That handlebar gives you the ability to mount things like a GPS, a cell phone, other types of things. One thing I didn't point out is the Rally and the Sport. They come with what you see in the center of the screen right there, an extra little button which gives you cruise control. So when we talk about this as a comfortable vehicle that you can really put a lot of miles on, having cruise control built in, again, when you look at the price of this compared to other motorcycles, you're really comparing it sort of apples to apples from a price perspective, but you gain a lot with this. Over here on the throttle side, pretty simple stuff. You've got a kill switch right there and a start switch right there. Now what you don't have, again, is the brake lever here. So it's just twist and go, and it's simple. That's all the range of movement that you have in there. So it works really, really well. If you want something that's easy to drive and you just want to enjoy the drive and not have to figure out the machine, that's what this is. Simple, easy to drive. So before we go take a look at the Sport, I just want to show you a little glove box, I would call it. I'm sure they call it something different there. This is something that does have a gasket seal here, so it's going to be water resistant. I don't know how waterproof it would be, but I think it would be very good. If you're really concerned about waterproofness, go down to your regular camping store, get a little dry bag for some of your small camping type stuff, and that would fit in here perfectly. So really nice. You do have a port in here as well with a dual USB port. We'll show you that in just a second here, but you do have sort of a nice spot here. We'll get another angle to show you that dual USB. So again, looking in here, this isn't meant to hold a lot of stuff. It's not going to fit a helmet or anything, but it will take just the basics as you're driving there, so you don't have to have everything on your helmet. Again, USB ports there, so if you want to keep your cell phone charged up or anything else, you've got dual USB ports on that single port there, so you've got a little bit of ability to keep your things powered up. Now let's move to the Sport model. We'll take a look at the outside just for a second. We're going to review that one in a second, but I want to show you the dash on that one. So taking a look at this Sport model here, first of all, colors can really be customized. You can check out the website, you can check out the dealership here. There's all kinds of ways to customize that. Sport has a little different feeling, a little different sort of position for me here, a little different seat as well. It's got 16-inch wheels that are different style up front and a 16-inch on the back instead of a 15-inch on the back. So overall, same thing. No hand grips or no hand guards over here. But we're going to take a look at the dash on this one just to give you a little bit of variety, and we'll come back and do this in a future review. So let me know the questions you have between these models. Again, both 900cc, 3-cylinder models. Let's take a look at the dash. All right, taking a look at the dash here, a couple things worth pointing out here. You've got your steering that is, the dash that's tied to your steering, so it's kind of connected to your handlebars here. It is pretty cool to steer here and look at the wheels also turning, which is just a fun view. Again, this thing is just a riot to look at, to feel. It just feels so unique. So what we got here is the dash came dead. Can you see it there? Let's just turn it back to the on. There we go. Dash light's up there. So you can see it's in park right now. If I took the parking brake off, it would say F, that's for forward. Of course, it would go R for reverse. That's all you've got. Remember, there's no gears on this. Temperature gauge to the side, trip meter, regular typical odometer, that kind of stuff up here, and then you've got some information down the bottom. You can move this between different modes, including a sport mode here, a rally mode on the other one as well. But a basic dash, and it's all controlled with the buttons right here. You have nothing on the handlebars that you need to control. So clean, easy to read dash, nice and simple. So to take a look at the front over here, this is back to the Rally. I don't want to turn it on inside and sort of fume up the inside here, although we could do that in a future video. Right now you've got lights over here when you turn on your daytime running lights. Those are sort of your daytime running lights outside. Of course, these are on as well. The Rally has an extra set of lights down there. You've also got reflectors off the side here, so you've got a really cool kind of face to it that makes it really unique when it comes towards you. And again, the overall position, it looks very wide here, but it's really not that wide. This is, you know, much narrower than your typical car, so it really has a nimble and fun feel to it and a nimble and fun look to it overall. The other thing we should talk about is accessories. So as you can imagine, accessories are a huge piece of making this yours. We talked about the rear seat here. This panel here, or this section here, is equipped to accept all kinds of accessories, and we're going to do a separate video talking about accessories in the future. One of the most popular ones is to have a second passenger seat up here, or second seat up here for your passenger. It's cool because it'll actually label in your dash when your passenger's up here, so it's built for that here. But even just sitting here, there's all kinds of things you can add to this to make it yours. It's a very comfortable bike. And again, like I said, the accessories is all throughout, probably in another video. You can check it out online, but you can do so many things to make it yours, from the color to the comfort to the luggage carrying capability. A lot of people think you got to move to a Spider, the upper end three-wheeler from Can Am, in order to do your touring, but you could certainly add things to this to make it touring. Like I said, this one comes standard with the cruise control. You can add cruise controls to other models, but the Rally here, and I believe the Sport also, yeah, the Sport also has the cruise control as well. So what is this and who is it for? That's what we really need to talk about. Well, let's just talk really briefly about the overall seating position here. This seating position, even on this Ryker, is extremely comfortable. This seat here on the Rally feels a little softer than on the Sport model, so sort of like an adventure bike versus a sport bike. I find this one to be a really nice mix. Like I said, to me, this feels like the top line version of the Sport model. The Sport model feels like it's just a slight step down because it loses a few features like that adjustable suspension, and in this case, this seat. But they're very, very similar, and I think you'd be comfortable on both ones. But this is one that I can see really stretching into a touring type thing if you put the accessories on. So as we talk about who this is for, let's sort of broaden it out. Obviously, this appeals to people who want something that's simple to ride, twist and go, you know, forward and reverse, that's it. That is something that appeals to a lot of people, even experienced motorcyclists, to just enjoy the ride and not have to worry about the machine so much. But I don't think it's only for people who want the stability of a three-wheeler. It's also for people who want to have a lot of fun. There are other three-wheeled motorcycles out there, but many of them have wheels at the back and a single wheel at the front. By putting your front wheels in, you've got great stability in corners. This is a cornering machine. It's all kinds of fun, but it also gives you more braking power compared to a typical trike. A typical trike has a motorcycle wheel with very little contact patch on the front, and then it has you know, the car style wheels in the back. This one has special designed wheels for this vehicle that gives you tremendous braking when you need to brake, tremendous cornering handling. On a day like today, it's raining. If you got caught in the rain on this, on a tour, that kind of thing, not a big deal. You wear some good rain gear and you're good to go. So I think it appeals obviously to the people who want something that is maybe a little easier to ride, but where I think it needs to appeal is people looking for fun. If you've wanted that lightweight sports car feel with the back end that can dance around a little bit and that good suspension that's set out so you've got all the center of mass inside, this has that lightweight sports car feel. There's nothing like this on the road, and it's absolutely a blast to have something like this because it gives you that lightweight sports car feel, it gives you that open air feeling of a motorcycle, and to be honest, it's not even like either of those. It brings its own fun. So let's wrap this video up with who is this really for? The Can Am Ryker Rally is for people who want to go on an adventure in a sports car-like vehicle that's open air like a motorcycle. The Rally to me is super unique because it allows you to do what you can do on an adventure bike. Travel any road, go down some gravel roads, go down some dirt roads. There's nowhere that's stopping you. And when you compare this to an adventure bike, it's a much better platform to add luggage to. It's much more stable in unfamiliar terrain. You can really go anywhere with comfort and ease. You've got a cruiser style riding position, which is one of the most comfortable riding positions, but you've got a sport bike-like feel, sports car-like feel. The Rally to me sells it for me personally, and that's why I wanted to review this one first, because it still has great handling. I mean, the Sport's probably gonna have a little bit better sport tires with the 16-inch front and rear, but this one adds the adjustable suspension, the little bit extra ground clearance that I appreciate, that I think makes this something that I could ride absolutely anywhere, and maybe even in any weather. This thing is super cool. It has to be checked out, whether you're looking for a motorcycle, a fun little sports car, or just something to have fun and explore on, throw a second seat on and explore with a friend, with a passenger. This thing is absolutely amazing. So again, I want to thank Extreme Torque Motorsports. This is at the Hanwell location, which is near Fredericton. There's also 2 other locations in New Brunswick. If you're in New Brunswick, you got to check them out. And if you've made it this far in this video, make sure you subscribe. I'm sure there's things you want to know that I didn't cover, and I'm going to cover the entire Can-Am lineup here. And if you have questions and things that you want to know about it, let me know, because I'm going to make sure that this series of videos gets you the answers you need. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks Torque Motorsports, Extreme Torque Motorsports here in Fredericton for giving me access to their stuff. We'll talk to you in the next one.